Hi, everybody. This is Alex Oliver, back again with another episode. With our third attempt at an episode of Project Onward Artists at Home Quarantine Edition. If you've been following the series, you know that we've been really excited about interviewing Ruby Bradford, one of the most popular artists at Project Onward, one of the most talented, certainly one of my personal favorites, and many of yours. But due to some unfortunate, unforeseen circumstances, the stars didn't quite align, and we either weren't able to get to her apartment, or when we were able to get there, we experienced some technical difficulties with the Wi-Fi and what have you. I think we've worked out all those kinks, and I'm really excited to give it another shot today. Thank you all for giving it another go with us. As I say, a third time is a charm. So we're going to cover some ground that we did on what little of the last interview we were able to make it through, just for consistency's sake, since this is the one that will be archived for future generations. So if you watched the last attempt, some of this may sound familiar to you, but I don't want anyone to miss a moment of the essence of Ruby, as someone so eloquently put it last time. So without further ado, I'm going to go see if Ruby's logged on, and we'll see if we can get it going this time. Thanks again, everybody. Well, hello, Ruby.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Fine. Sorry you didn't finish it the other day.
I'm sorry too. It certainly wasn't your fault, but thank you so much
It was the
for trying again.
fault messed it up in the beginning because
Yeah,
not doing it very well.
that's okay. These things happen, you know. Hopefully someday we'll be in a maybe in a professional TV studio or something. But for now, I
Um,
appreciate you being so patient.
Adopt production for the second week of September.
What was that?
Can we do it for a video soon for Adopt for September 8th?
For September 8th, you want to do another video?
Yeah, for Adopt group
Yeah,
only.
sure, we could probably make that happen. We'll talk about it and see what we can figure out. Sorry, I'm just adjusting my angle here. Everything looks great there. For those who may not recognize the room you're in, uh, you are in the Project Onward studio right now in the Bridgeport Arts Center, and you've got some of your work displayed behind you. It looks amazing.
This is not my home. This is a studio.
That's right. That's right. We tried it from your home last time, but now you're in the studio, which is like a second home for you. You like the studio a lot, don't you?
Just sometimes, but not all the time. Remember we discussed about the Superman cap in Germany?
That's right. I do remember that. And I'll
Sorry,
mention.
that's about my friend Jennifer Schuler. She used to work at Treehouse, and her friend of hers lived in Germany for 10 years because I read to her about the Superman cap. Just for a
Mhm.
prep and go on eBay Germany.
Well, Ruby, let me catch everyone up just in case they don't know what we're talking about here. If you didn't see the last segment, what Ruby's referring to is this very rare Superman ball cap that is only available in Germany. The only other one like it belongs to Mr. Joey Fatone of NSYNC fame, also another famous, huge Superman fan like Ruby. So she really wants this hat, but she needs someone in Germany to get it for her. So if any of our friends in Deutschland are watching, please get this hat for Ruby. Make it happen. She would love it. She's a great admirer of Superman, as you can see. Ruby, let's start with Superman and talk a little bit about, because you've got a lot of stuff that inspires your art and a lot of themes that kind of make
Yeah,
their
I
way
already
your way.
donated to the Superman stars at the attend a Superman celebration after my mom been gone too soon for 8 years after Wizard World. I
Mm-hmm.
used to go to Wizard World before my mom was ill.
Right. And when did your
Christopher in 2012 after my
mm-hmm.
former friend took 6 hours a long drive.
Yeah.
I Michael killed her 3 times before she died committed suicide a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I met Dean Kane about 4 times about 8 years ago.
Wow.
I
That's so
already gave
cool.
work to him.
Uh-huh.
He never came to the studio before, maybe one day before I retired.
Now, did you always like the Superman movies and the Superman cartoon when you were a kid growing up?
Yeah, my mom like George Reeves.
Yeah,
My
but who's
dyed yet. My hair's not dyed yet. It'll be back in the fall.
Oh, cool. We can still see some of the red in there, though. It looks great.
They had it for 19 years.
Yeah, you're always rocking the Superman colors,
Tony
the
used to
red, white,
like
and blue, and yellow.
Joey Fatone from NSYNC.
That's right.
Hair's already gray now. They like
But
Justin Timberlake.
they do. Well, Justin Timberlake's a very talented man, but Joey Fatone definitely has the Superman thing going for him.
Because I'm trying to be a singer as long as I could. That's why I had to do something else besides painting.
Uh-huh.
Before we talk about Charles and Diana separate,
Sure. Well, we'll get into all of that. I do want to ask you a little bit more about Superman first because I know I was looking at your Instagram and you've met some of the Supermen at comic conventions, but you've also been to this Superman celebration in Metropolis, Illinois, that they have every year. That looks like a lot of fun, Ruby.
they canceled this year due to COVID-19, and guess what? They
Yeah.
had Super Museum brick donation. It costs $100 4 by 6. If you get a bigger one, it costs $200.
Uh-huh. Well, hopefully they'll be back next year and you can go back and celebrate your favorite superhero again.
We have to wait and see what happens next year.
That's
Since
right.
1 to 2018 at that Met, John Hayes Newton. He's not a good actor, but Dean Cain after Gerard Cooper.
Yeah. Well, similar to Superman, there's also the character of Super Ruby that appears in a lot of your work, which is
Lou
your superhero alter ego, and you've got the Superman colors, and you've also got the red R, which is such a cool spin on the Superman design. There it is. That's so
No,
cool,
the
Ruby.
reason why I made that's after the late actor Christopher Reeve, he had horse accident.
Oh.
Why? Names
Uh-huh.
because my late mom gave it to me 2007
Uh-huh.
before she died in 2012. She
I
didn't go
see.
through.
Yeah.
She was suffering for smoking, and she didn't tell me she had a seizure.
Now, we got to see a little bit of your home last time, some of your studio there, the space where you work, and
Lived
you
there
lived in
for
that.
24 years, and
That's
I
right.
was raised on 3820 South Prairie and Bronxville.
Uh-huh.
On 5th, I was raised. In
And you were born in Chicago too, isn't that right?
and I was raised in Bronxville, in
Uh-huh.
Southside, next to Winterfield. My dad used to go in Winterfield. My mom used to go in Dunbar High School. My dad dropped out. He didn't have his high school diploma. He was
Yeah.
honorable discharge. I have my dad's flag.
Uh-huh. Well, now, did you always make art when you were young? What do you remember growing up working on
My
art?
mom used to draw me as Superman. I was a kid.
Uh-huh.
She took one art class. She went to beautician school, work at the funeral home, but she didn't finish high school.
So Superman was your earliest inspiration, huh? That really made you want to draw and paint.
I like Ruby Spears cartoons better in the animated series, but they don't have a same as
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, Superman has a very long history of great animation and movies, and he's definitely a great character, and we've seen him take so many forms in your work. But as people can see behind you right now, you're also a huge fan of cats, and cats are another thing that appear in so much of your art, and it's very popular with people. Tell us about why you like cats so much.
I used to call my late mom a cat mom. My mom saw the cats,
Uh-huh.
allergic cats. I used to call her good cat, good cat. I used to have a ghost cat.
A ghost cat. Did this ghost cat live with you?
Yeah, since
Yeah.
that been gone too soon, and I don't do that much anymore.
Yeah, I think you mentioned your.
Friends with Matt Streets and Megan Byrne, they've been in my house once since
Hmm.
mom.
Now, I think you told me. I think you told me your mom was allergic to cats, right?
Yes, she
Yeah,
like
but that's the good thing about ghost cats. They probably don't cause her to have any problems with allergies, huh? Don't have to worry about their fur getting everywhere.
I always sneak the cat in the house.
Oh yeah. Well, I know you love cats so much, and you do really amazing.
I used to support Treehouse, but things changed. It don't like it used to be. Because after they fired my friend Jenny and don't like it used to be, we got enough to get advantage of me because after my mom helped me out before she passed too soon, and we just lost my former principal, Miss
Uh-huh.
Eddie.
Yeah, I'm very sorry to hear that, Ruby. I know that that's kind of a source of inspiration too, or a lot of the people that you know, and some people who have passed, because you have a lot of people who are close to you that you've lost, but you remember them, and I know you always like to share stories about them.
I used to attend Foster Park about almost 33 years ago.
Uh-huh. Wow. Well, it's really great of you to keep their memory alive, and I'm sure they really
I
enjoyed
never had
their
such
time
a
with you.
Miss Pandy.
Hmm.
Just a bad enemies. Like my late Aunt Shaw used to pick on me.
Hmm.
Mash Reese and Trevor Husky. It's been there for too long.
Yeah. Well,
That was a bad experience.
Ruby, speaking of those who are no longer with us, and to go back to the cats a little more, I was looking on your Instagram, and you met one of the most famous cats on the planet, Lil Bub. Can you tell us about what that was like?
I met Lil Bub 2014,
Uh-huh.
just before my 30th birthday. I met her again.
What was that pretty exciting meeting Lil Bub?
Yeah, after I
I,
met Mike, he's the owner of Cat for
hmm.
Bloomington, Indiana. And I met Grumpy Cat once. They both deceased.
Oh, yeah, that's a real shame. Wow, two of the most famous cats in the world, though, and you got to meet them. And I know you've painted both of them too, right?
Yeah, I already did a little Bub before I give it to them. He really appreciated it.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to take a moment to encourage everyone to go visit your Instagram. That's at Ruby underscore H underscore Bradford. And there aren't a lot of examples of her work on there, but what you will find are some really great shots of Ruby and her amazing red hair and Superman swag, and pictures like those with Lil Bub and with a lot of the actors from Superman and comic book artists, because she's very has a very active social life. You like to go to these comic conventions
I
and you like
met
to
as
meet your
well
heroes.
before. I met
Hmm.
as well before, and Dan Judgers, he used to do a Superman since he retired doing Superman. He left.
Yeah,
He's a good guy, but he's a friend of mine, but he never been in here.
I
Cause,
see.
'Cause it's gonna be very hard to people. Cause I've been artist for almost 23 years.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, that brings us to another really interesting topic, Ruby, which is you've been part of Project Onward since the beginning. Do you remember what it was like when you?
2005,
Uh
after
huh.
I did not finish the upper school, like the International Academy of Science and Technology, and I would struggle to, I don't have no degree because they already took advantage of me because I
Oh.
didn't do very well.
Uh huh.
My uncle was there.
Yeah. Well,
Since the International Academy it's already been closed, that's not credit school, it's already been closed down.
yeah.
And so it's the Mighty God Christian.
Well, you bring up a really good point, Ruby, and that is that a lot of people who are facing the challenges of neurodiversity, conditions such as autism,
I
they,
used to see before.
uh-huh, sometimes people don't have they don't have support systems, and they don't have people advocating for them, and I know that that's something that you've struggled with, but Ruby, you are such an inspirational person. I mean, you go out there and you get things done, and I know you're very active in your community, and you go and you talk to your aldermen and you talk to representatives, and you try to get funding personally for Project Onward. I mean, you do a lot of amazing stuff, Ruby. And I've said it before, if you could easily go into politics or something. It's really pretty spectacular what you've
I used to
managed to
do
accomplish.
athlete. I used to do athlete. I used to do a softball throw, walk race, and 50-meter run.
Uh-huh.
I don't do those anymore since I retired about 19 years ago. I
Yeah.
help out. I will help out as a volunteer with the gold medals again since they didn't have it this year.
Right. Well, I know one of our other artists, David Holt. He's very active in Special Olympics, and he's won some medals himself. So maybe the two of you can both participate next time. Hopefully that's a program that will be back very soon.
Former athlete
Uh-huh.
as a volunteer.
What was
It's
your
with
favorite? What was your favorite
softball,
sport?
ball.
Hmm.
Never done no short put, and I don't hit that ball that good. I tried.
Yeah. Hey, that's all right. I'm not very good at it either, but you've got a lot of other talents, Ruby. Well, Ruby, I'd like to talk a little bit about your time at Project Onward and what it was like being part of the program at the beginning.
It's
Do you remember?
with different people.
Hmm.
Curious. I want to show you about young Prince Charles before we show
Absolutely.
Diana.
We've talked about Superman. We've talked about cats. I think the other, if
This
there's a top
older
three, a holy trinity of Ruby subjects, the royal family is definitely up there. Can you hold that up a little higher, Ruby? There it is. So
this
this is Prince Charles at the Chicago Board of Trade. Now, this was from a trip that he made to Chicago in the 1970s, right? Can you tell us a little bit more
was
about that?
1977 when he
Hmm.
first came to visit here, because my mom's not a big fan of his. After his
Oh,
mother, Queen, came to visit Chicago 1959, before
uh-huh.
her oldest son Charles stayed at Drake Hotel twice.
Wow. Now, I pointed this out last time, and I just want to remind everybody who's watching now, and those of you who might just be joining us, Ruby has an incredible knowledge of this trip to Chicago and all of the landmarks and places that they've visited. It's not because you're really a fan of the Drake Hotel or the Chicago Board of Trade. It's because you're such a fan of the royal family, and they were there, so you know everything about it. It's really amazing. Now, that was Prince Charles again. Where was he in that
And walk
painting?
over the South Street after the day Plaza Center for a civil ceremony.
Oh,
He
wow.
walked, agree with the crowds for a bit with the late Chicago Mayor Michael Blendick.
I see.
Or Trey, I just show you a picture where he visit inside.
Uh-huh. A- And this was before he was married to Diana, right?
Yes, that's when
Uh-huh.
he visit inside the Board of Trade. That's the late Chicago Mayor Michael Blendick.
I see.
And he went to
Wow.
Art Institute. He went to University of Chicago campus for the Royal Luncheon at the Iron Noble Hall. This is
Wow.
Iron Noble Hall.
That's fantastic, Ruby.
This is behind the scenes.
Uh-huh. Now,
And
I know you don't really. Oh, please go ahead. Show us another one if you have it.
he went to Museum of Science and Industry, and he
Uh-huh.
returned back to Drake, and he went to Apartment House for a black tie,
Cool.
and went back to Drake, and he flew to Cleveland for the next day for the Royal Luncheon at the University of Cleveland. And
Wow.
a few days later, he met Farrah Fawcett and Lee Majors in Los Angeles and Beverly Hills. He
Uh-huh.
met Charlie's Angels with Jacqueline Smith, Kate Jackson, and Cheryl Ladd.
Whoa.
20th Century Fox.
That's pretty cool. And Lee Majors, of course, was the $6 million man, isn't that right?
Yes,
Yeah. That's
this is
pretty
the
amazing.
$6 million man and Lee Farrah Fawcett and
Wow.
the Wells.
Now, Ruby, you've done a lot of amazing portraits of Prince Charles, but I know you weren't really a fan of him divorcing Princess Diana, right? And you don't really do him anymore. And we don't really like Camilla very much, do we?
No, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
And he came back to Chicago in 1986 with Lake Harold Washington
Uh-huh.
and Midway Airport as he left out of Boston.
But
And
you're
he,
still a fan of his children, aren't you? You still like to paint William and Harry, isn't that right?
yeah, he doesn't. I did Trooper Royal Guards.
Uh-huh.
That's Prince Charles's ex-wife, Princess Diana. When she stayed at the Drake Hotel for 3 days, she feels
There
like
she is, England's Rose.
she will be legendary pop icon.
That's right,
They
absolutely.
have picture everywhere at the Drake Hotel, but not her husband Charles, just Diana.
Yeah. Wow, it was such a tragedy when Diana passed. Do you remember that?
They named after the Princess Diana Suite.
Really?
This is
Wow, I didn't know that.
how the President's Suite, the home of the British royal family with Prince Charles
Hold
and Lady.
hold
That's what they say at the
there
Drake
it
Hotel.
is. Yeah. Wow, that's so cool. And now, wait, who was that? Was that as you as a cat, or was that Diana as a cat? I saw the red hair.
Just a temporary cat.
A temporary cat. Okay, just a hotel concierge or something like that.
This is the walnut room at the Prince Charles for the Royal Gala for Polo Dinner in Marshall Fields in 1906.
Now, I think you have a Princess Diana cat, isn't that right?
Yes,
Can we see that one? Do you have it ready?
that's Chicago Board of Trade.
Uh-huh.
And this is the Drake Hotel, the home of the British royal family.
Wow.
After the stars Richard Gere, Marilyn Monroe, Princess Diana, Al Gore, Dean Martin, Julia Roberts, Marilyn Monroe, Prince Charles, and late Diana, the Princess of Wales.
Very cool. Ruby, I gotta tell you, we got some love for temporary cat in the comments here. Might have to bring that character back.
That's inside the Board of Trade at the Prince Charles visit at the Board of Trade one time.
Very cool. Oh, now this is a brand new piece. I just saw this one recently. It's an exclusive sneak peek. Can you hold that one up again, Ruby? Can we take a closer look at it? Because this is really worlds colliding here. Crossover with Super Ruby, who you see there, and Superman. Really amazing work. I should mention too, real quick, Ruby, before we see another one, I want to let everyone know that a bunch of Ruby's work just went up for sale on the Project Onward store. You can get there at projectonward.org. Oh, this one's amazing. I have one of these hanging in my apartment. Ruby, can we see that again? Star Trek cats. Next generation era, of course. As a big Trekkie. Ruby, you're always so kind in giving me comics, and you gave me some Star Trek comics recently, and I just want to. I don't think I've had a chance to thank you personally for that, but I really appreciate it.
I didn't say it's going to be easy. Thanks to
No,
Solid
I know.
and the Golden Girls that was after is a living.
Uh-huh.
The Golden Girls still be popular, but not on as a living because after the music under licensing, without their permission, that's why they never released the DVD because under the music licensing issues, not as good like the Golden Girls still popular. Now they have lunchbox T-shirts, but not on as a living, just the Golden Girls.
That's right. So Golden Girls, of course.
They won 4 Emmys.
Uh-huh.
Never offer. Betty White won twice.
Wow. Golden Girls is a fantastic show and a cultural phenomenon. But Ruby, she was just mentioning there that she doesn't think it's quite as good as the very underrated sitcom It's a Living, which was on in the early 80s. And who she just recently got me hooked on this show. It's on Amazon Prime if anyone's out there and wants to check it out. It's a fantastic show.
There's the London Cats
Uh-huh.
and
Excellent.
there's Buckingham.
Now, Ruby, you've done your work is very popular, and you do a lot of commissions because people enjoy your work so much. I'm reminded of one that you did for a friend of mine who wanted Prince Charles, Superman, and a cat all in the same painting, and you were nice enough to make that happen for him. And I gotta say, it was really amazing seeing all of those worlds collide.
This is Iron Hall. Like I
Uh-huh.
said, I did Prince Charles' visit for the royal luncheon for almost 43 years. After he took a long walk, we at the Ivan Nova Hall at the University of Chicago campus. I visited Ivan Nova Hall before.
Have you? Wow.
I've been over there for almost 11 years.
Really? That's so cool.
He's
Have you
not coming
been?
back.
Have you been to the Drake Hotel and to the Chicago Board of Trade as well?
I visited at the floor market before 9/11,
I
but
see.
it's not to the public no more.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
You have to take it outside until it be safe again. It get back to normal.
That's
Superman came
right.
out in 1938.
Uh-huh. Now, Ruby, I'd like to know a little bit more about what your process is like, if you can talk about that a bit when you're making art. What do you, first of all, what kind of materials do you use? You're a painter mostly, isn't that right?
Yeah, I use
Yeah.
marker,
Marker.
acrylic, but I don't
Uh-huh.
use oil paint too much because
No.
I painted the last time I was in Truman,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
this board at the Drake Hotel. I took a long walk, the
I
home of
see.
the royal family. They
Now,
miss
Ru
Diana.
that's right. Yeah, I'm sure they do. But tell us about William and Harry, because you've painted them before, right? Do you like to paint them as well?
I used to want Harry split up his older brother because of Megan issues.
I see.
That
Yeah,
was
that's right.
before William used to have hair, but he's already bald.
Right. So he's not as much fun. He's not as much fun to paint anymore, huh? Because he's going
No,
bald. Yeah.
he's
I do
bald.
a lot of the men in Ruby's work do have really nice thick full heads of hair, I gotta say. And I think that's they all kind of I've even been lucky enough to be immortalized in some of Ruby's work, and I always get a little bit more of a Superman coif in there, which I really appreciate. And think it looks
Never met
fantastic, Ruby.
Henry Cavill. I never met Henry Cabell.
Yeah.
Got Christopher once, and this is Special Liberty Cat.
Uh-huh. Can you move that over just a little, Ruby? We had a little trouble seeing that one. There it is, Statue of Liberty cat.
Hey, you know what? Maybe I could donate with the former president with the Man of Steel when they open Obama's library pretty soon. That's gonna be a little bit tricky.
Yeah, it could happen though. They'd be lucky to have some of your work hanging in there, Ruby. Now, it's pretty amazing how many pieces of work you've managed to incorporate cats into. I mean, I've seen Game of Thrones cats. I've seen Birth of Venus cat. You just showed us Golden Girls cat. You showed us Royal Family cat. It's so cool, the
An
different
astronaut
themes.
cat.
There's a NASA cat. It's amazing. If you're a cat lover, Ruby will put cats into any setting for you, and she'll be happy to do it. You should definitely commission some work from her. Look at that.
Not all the time, just sometimes.
Just sometimes, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just be very careful with yourself because they don't want to cut your benefit down.
sure.
That's against the law.
I understand. And everyone at Project Onward is very careful and very conscious of that. So they definitely are gonna do their best to support you as an artist and promote your work and sell your work. But
As
I know
much
that,
as you can, but not all
of
the time.
course,
Some people come and go.
absolutely, absolutely. Wow, Ruby. Well, I'd like to talk a little bit about what it's been like for you lately, because I know you have to work at home a lot now. You can't really
I'll
go
be
into the
going
studio.
out sometimes and walk and
Uh-huh.
exercise because
Is it
I've been
kind?
diabetic for almost 3 years and I don't like to talk about. And since David Bus is not going to open back up for a while until it be safe again.
Yeah. Dave and Buster's, that's a place you like to go, right? I think you had your birthday there a couple years ago, right?
No, I haven't had that for almost 12 years and I don't like to discuss about my birthdays.
Yeah, that's okay.
My
I
mom
understand.
died too soon. My
We
mom
don't,
never.
sure, we don't have to talk about it, but Dave and Buster's is a fun place, and I do hope you can go back again soon. But has it been kind of scary just with everything that's going on with the coronavirus?
Yes, because I had to go all the way to Rosemont. And
Mm-hmm.
this is the old one. I did the early years because it's not
Yeah.
going to be easy like it was.
No, no, it sure isn't. Not anytime soon. But I'm glad that you've managed to stay so busy and have made so much art during this time. Do you do you miss going into the studio and being around the other artists?
Just a little bit, but not too much. Just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I know they all miss you, Ruby. All right, let's see what we have here. Is this you and your mom?
Yes, that's the Stacky Field.
That's a
Because I
really
never
nice
went
picture.
back. That was a long time ago. I'm sorry I won't be able to bring my mom in a coffin. I used to have a Facebook. It will be back pretty soon until
Yeah.
I upgrade that. My computer is already 10 years old already because I already lost my two aunts after my mom been gone too soon. Only have two aunts left.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
keep it to other people.
yeah, I know. I've heard about your problems with your Facebook account being deleted, and that's unfortunate. But I do want to
It's,
remind everyone once again, you do have a really you're very active on Instagram,
I
and
understand it. I miss my
yeah,
old face. It will be back pretty
sure,
soon. Just be
good.
very careful. Don't share your passwords to me, hackers.
That's right. That's very good
Like
advice for everyone out there.
I almost messed up the last time.
Uh
There
huh.
the Superman costume colors of Alex Ross.
Wow. So Ruby, can we talk a little bit about your Superman collection? Because I know
Is it
I know you got a lot of Superman items and memorabilia. How long have you been collecting Superman stuff?
for 20, almost 21 years? It took years.
Uh huh.
Like Joey Patel from NSYNC, this is my room.
Wow. Look at that.
Let me show you my Superman plush out earlier.
Uh huh. Yeah, let's see it again. There we go. That's really cool.
This is a classic Superman, but that's not Superboy. Superboy is not popular in Superman. Superman came out in 1938.
Uh huh.
I
Now,
never done without his red trousers, never. That's why I always give my paints to Dean Cain.
now, Ruby, I know you also really enjoy hanging out at comic book shops. There's a comic shop here in town that you really enjoy going to, isn't that right?
Yeah, and I was planning to go to Cincinnati until I canceled. There's no makeup bus available.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
So I had to post it to next year.
What's the comic book shop that you go to here in Chicago?
Grant Cracker Comics.
Grant, what is it called?
Grant Cracker Comics.
All right. Well, shout out to them. Thank you for inviting Ruby in and giving her another place that feels like home. I know that they like to hang out with you and talk about Superman with you there. All right.
I re-
Are they closed now during the coronavirus?
yeah, to
Yeah.
sick. I'm sorry you won't get to meet my pastor Sharon. She's a good woman. After I have a hard time visiting my former pastor Adam Frenchak. He used to work here. He got transferred as the pastor because I
Uh-huh.
don't go there all the time, and I didn't have a hotel the last time because that was a bad experience. And next year, 2021.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. Well, Ruby, you know, last Friday was Third Friday, which of course is a huge deal at Project Onward and at the Bridgeport Arts Center as a whole because it's a nice big open house for all the studios there, and Project Onward usually always plans a special show. Now, the show that they're still going and doing it online, and it's still a big event, and they got a lot of great work to view and to purchase. So I would encourage everyone to check it out. But this show in particular that just went live on Friday is called Cause and Effect. That's AFFECT because it's basically the theme is a lot of the current events and the current kind of like political societal tensions that we're facing and the artist's own reaction to it and the way that they're affecting change through their work and through their voice. And Ruby, I know that you're not afraid to get political sometimes in your work. You did a really amazing Black Lives Matter piece with cats, Black Cats Matter, and it's really some of your best work, I think. And I want to know what you think about just everything that's going on in the world right now.
We have to make sure to keep the pets safe with dogs,
Hmm.
chickens, cows, and cats. And I see cats and kittens everywhere.
Yeah. You know who was very passionate about that? Do you remember Bob Barker, the host of Price is Right? At the end of every show, he'd say, "Please spay and neuter your pets," because he wanted to make sure that they were all safe.
Hey, you know what? Let me see a song somewhere over the rainbow. Here it is.
Yeah. All right. Here we're gonna get an exclusive
This
song
is a
from Ruby Bradford. I'm gonna go off camera and let you have the spotlight, Ruby, if you want to sing right now. Okay, go ahead.
over the rainbow, way up high, there's Nightland, and I heard her once, and a lullaby. Somewhere in the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream we do come true. Someday I wish upon a star, and I wake up when it closes the door. Are you behind me? When trouble melts like lemon drops and when falling chimney tops, that's where you find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. When birds fly over the rainbow, why then, oh, why can't I? When happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I? Yeah.
Wow. Ruby, that was amazing. Ruby, I gotta say, in all the interviews we've done, I've never seen so many hearts and emojis and things pop up in the comments as I did during that song.
I like
That
the
was really wonderful.
version better in the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people were kind of surprised. I didn't know that you had such a great singing voice. I've been
I
lucky
never
enough.
met Tom Jones. We went to see him about almost 4 years ago at the House of Blues since he
Yeah.
already canceled a
I've been
few
lucky enough to
shows.
hear you sing at some of the Project Onward parties because we've done karaoke there, and you are a natural. You were born to be in the spotlight. And since you mentioned Tom Jones, who I know you're a huge fan of too,
My mom liked Tom Jones too. I never met him. That's why we're going to have to consider until we get approved by the
yeah,
mayor. That's why I had to make my decision for a change.
yeah.
It's
Well,
not good.
would you be willing to sing a Tom Jones song for everybody too? Do you know the words to "She's a Lady" off the top of your head, or do you need the lyrics in front of you?
I didn't bring it. Sorry.
No? Okay. All right. Well, maybe some other time
That's
because
why I did Spice Girls, Wanna Be My Lover. Rick Ashley, The Beatles.
yeah, Rick Astley, another one I've seen you sing in person. You do a fantastic job of that too. And some of these people have made their way into some of your work too, isn't that right? I think
Yeah,
I've seen you paint. Yeah, I've seen you paint Rick Astley and Tom Jones before.
I
And
used
Tom,
to send my artwork to Prince Charles a long time ago.
hmm
That's
Tom,
his
Tom
big.
Jones also from Wales, and Princess Diana,
Yeah,
of course, was the Princess of Wales.
yeah, she will be legendary icon.
She is absolutely. What do you think of that song? What do you think of that song "Candle in the Wind" that Elton John did? Originally, it was for Marilyn Monroe, and then he recorded it again for Princess Diana. Do you like that song?
He missed Diana and he missed George Michael.
Yeah, he did. He did a song with George Michael as well. Yeah, a lot of we've lost a lot of great ones, but Ruby, you honor their memory and you keep them alive through your amazing artwork. Uh, whether it's Princess Diana or Christopher Reeve
I never
or
met
Lil
Lady
Bub.
Jean Kane, and like I told you, we got enough call me retarded and N-word. I'm not
Mm.
Puerto Rican, I'm African American.
Oh, wow. It's always painful when people say hurtful things like that. I'm sorry that you've ever had to hear anything like that, Ruby. But you're proving them all wrong by by being strong and
Why my
motivated.
here, you have to be very careful with you. Because I used to go out nightclub a long time ago on North Clark Division. I don't do that no more since my mom been gone too soon.
Yeah, but you still do get out and get around the city a lot. And I know from talking to some of the other artists, especially those who grew up in Chicago, the the architecture and the buildings in Chicago are so inspirational. Do you enjoy going and looking around at just the buildings in town?
Just the Drake Hotel and the Board of Trade at the Prince
Right.
visit and Marshall Fields at the Walnut Room. That was
Uh-huh.
a terrific Walnut Room for the royal dinner for the Prince of Wales. And Prince Philip went to Marshall Fields once, 1966.
Oh, that's cool. Wow. So Ruby, I'd like to ask you about another aspect, another one of the most important aspects of being an artist at Project Onward, are the portrait slams, and you are one of the portrait slam all stars. You do such amazing work there. Can you tell us about what it's
I
like doing portrait
didn't
slams and meeting people?
say I didn't say it's gonna be easy. Do it again.
Yeah,
The way and see, I can't make any promise I'm gonna do it again or not.
right, right. Well, I think a lot of people would like it if you came back to one. Do you enjoy getting to meet people and painting their picture?
But now the time.
Right, right. Yeah,
Just
I know.
let Carmen know we had to wait and see before I step down, but I don't want to do the same thing like I have been doing. Soon as I get my old Facebook account back, because it's too many hackers steal my information.
Right. How about the pet portraits? Do you enjoy doing pet portraits, Ruby?
Because my friend Jenny Shooter work a lot. She only come late.
Uh-huh.
My friend Megan Burns had to take care of her daughter. Her daughter have a disabled.
Mm-hmm. Ruby, do you like I know of course you enjoy painting cats, but you get to do pet portraits sometimes. Is that fun?
I did Super Dog Crypto. That's Superman's dog.
Oh, awesome. Wow, I don't think I've seen that one. I'll have to look for
That
that.
was a long time ago.
Yeah, yeah. Do you watch there's the Supergirl series on TV now,
I
isn't that right?
heard about it is still be popular, but it's not as popular as Superboy
Yeah.
because under Superman, after Christopher Reeve, they didn't get the license because they broke the law of the family permission, and they took a legal battle before Lois and Clark, and they're going to reboot Lois and Clark. It's called Superman Lois.
Wow. How do you know all of this, Ruby? Do you read about this sort of thing on the internet, or how is it you find out about the whole history?
I met the other guy. He played Superman on Supergirl last year at CTE2. His name
Uh-huh.
is Tyler.
Wow. Wow. Well, Ruby, that's all fantastic. We're going to be running out of time here soon, so I got a couple more questions to ask you. But before we do that, I want to start taking some viewer questions because you got a lot of fans watching. First, Whitney's chiming in, and she says she wants to see your latest art history cat painting. Do you have that? Wow, look at that.
Hold it back a little. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, sorry, I had to fix it, and I forgot to tell you. Remember we discussed. I used to live on South Indiana in Bronzeville after I burned my mom's house twice, 1989. After I got my
Uh-huh.
foot burned once, I ended up at a whirlpool, and I hate IVs on my arms. My mom always
Yeah.
told me. I got a hospital about a month. Almost
I
lost my leg,
yeah,
and
I
got
remember you mentioning that.
and I
Well, f-
burned again in December 1990, and we live in a motel, and we live on Cottage Grove. After my mom had two heart attacks, we had to move out of the second floor because my mom could not handle it on the second floor no more. After we
yeah.
moved short about 24 years ago, and I just found out, I called the Chicago Furniture Company. It's not the same since we
Mm-hmm.
left 24 years ago, and they haven't been over there no more. They already sold it. It's not the
Wow.
same. And I miss my old home in Bronzeville. I had to visit at Apostolic Faith Church after I met Dr. Hosea Smith once last on Christmas Teen Impact.
Yeah.
What's this idea at the fourth church, but after 13 years, it did not fare. Since I'm not a member at the Apostolic Church, it's what I did at the fourth church.
Wow. Well, Ruby, I know you've been through some pretty traumatic events and you mentioned almost losing your leg. I'm so glad that you were able to keep your leg. That would have been terrible. But you got a lot of people sending love and prayers your way right now. I want to mention here Amanda Gentry Studio. said that your cat's last supper is hanging in their house. So that's pretty exciting. The Kinneret has a question. Ruby, what's inspiring you nowadays?
I
What do
did
you
one
what
about the cat suffered
uh-huh.
when they bought it.
Oh, I'm not sure. When did they buy it? Is that what you want to know? Amanda
Yeah.
Gentry Studio, if you want to chime in with that. Ruby's curious when you bought that one. While we wait for that answer, um, Ruby, why don't you tell us what's been inspiring you lately?
I did as much as I could do. That's why
Uh-huh.
I'm doing you could, because I'm not be doing it again anytime soon afterwards. Because Harry is not the prince anymore. He already gave it up.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe one day will be my turn, because I want to move on my life.
yeah.
Instead of the artist. Alice Ross is a good guy. Dan Judgers is a terrific Superman, but is not as Jim Lee.
hmm Well, Ruby, I know just from talking to you from personal experience, another thing that is very important to you is church. You go to church a lot. Do you find that that's a very inspirational thing?
I don't want to get the wrong password, and I don't want to be uncomfortable.
Uh-huh.
I
Uh-huh.
really did one with temporary, some from transfer back, one they moved somewhere else.
Yeah. Are you close to your pastor right now?
I live South Shore, and I like the North Michigan Avenue better.
I see. Okay. Well, I hope you find the right home, but I'm glad that that's still
I
an
used
important thing in
to
your
shop
life.
at the Disney store. It used to be a Warner Bros. Store.
Uh-huh. Oh, hey, we've got some
Before we wrap it up, like I said,
of
it's
course.
hard to get
Again, the
super
hat,
Germany.
it's on eBay. Right? Isn't it on eBay, Ruby?
Yes, in Germany. Go
Yeah. But
States.
it'll only ship to Germany, so please, someone in Germany, make this happen. Uh,
Because
Ruby,
I
we've
already
got
asked my friend of mine, her friend of hers, he lived in Germany for 10 years.
yeah. Well, Ruby, Nancy's got a couple of questions here. One of them, I think I might know the answer, is where would you like to travel when COVID is over? Do you think you'd like to go to Germany yourself?
I don't have a passport.
Yeah. Well, if you could go anywhere in the world, though, where would you like to go?
That's why we're going to have to make my decision. That's
Uh-huh.
why we can't do it both at the same time. See, that's the difficult situation since Miss
Yeah.
been gone. Because I don't deal with her grandchildren. I didn't know them very well.
Right, right. Well, Ruby is ever the realist, that's for sure. Won't even speculate on visiting anywhere until COVID is behind us and she gets that passport. Nancy also wants to know if you sing at church. We all got to hear your beautiful singing
I
voice.
used to sing at Belmar before I joined at the church.
Mm-hmm.
Since I quit 2011, I had to take care of my mom because I don't do that anymore. And Bill Mart is
Yeah.
what started the Fort Church at the young adults, 20s and 30s.
Well, I hope you can get back on stage and sing soon, whether it's at Project Onward or at church, or because I'm sure a
We
lot of
have
people would love to
to
hear your
see.
voice.
I have to make my decision for a change. It's not going to be easy, I'm telling you,
Oh, I know. I know. Well,
because I want to move on. Like William, I mean Harry.
yeah, right. Well,
I
Ruby,
never Harry.
our friend and Project Onward volunteer Michelle at Baby Grandma Vintage is wondering if you'd like to travel to England, considering that's where the royal family lives.
I have a friend of mine, Brian Sedgwick,
Uh-huh.
in London. He's a friend of mine, but he's not a big fan of English royals that much anymore. He's
I
been in
see.
London before.
Uh-huh.
Cyrus is a good friend of mine.
Well, cool. Well, maybe you can just go by yourself someday
No, 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 we had to wait and see.
and go
But
to Buckingham Palace and
I
see
already
it
done
all.
all work at Buckingham Palace a long time ago, about almost 20 years ago. I
Uh-huh.
37.
Wow. Well, Ruby, we're down to about our last.
For adapt for production for the second week of September.
Uh-huh.
When my hair we die,
What was that, Ruby?
we're gonna have to save it for adapt production for a video meeting on the second week on Tuesday in
Uh-huh.
September.
Right. Okay, great. Well, we'll get that sorted out. Ruby, we're going to be running out of time in about 10 minutes here. So before we go, I do have just a couple more questions for you. One is one that I've asked all the artists I've interviewed so far, and that is, what kind of advice do you have for other artists?
Um,
Is there anything you'd like to say to someone else out there who maybe wants to make art?
I saw Ricky, his older brother, his art piece in MCA.
Uh-huh. Ricky's older brother, Wesley?
Yeah,
Yeah, you saw his piece. Did you find that was something that inspired you?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe your advice would be just to find art that inspires you and appreciate the work of other artists, and maybe that'll help you kind of find your voice and motivate you to create your own.
No, I don't want to do it like everybody else. That's why I will go as a former artist one day.
Right, right.
Just for now, just for now.
Of course. Well, Ruby, trust me, you have no danger of doing it like everybody else. You have your own very unique style, and and I'm such a huge fan of your work. I really hope you keep it up.
Piece you have
How many
of
pieces do I have? Oh my. I'd have to go around my apartment and count, but I have quite a few. And a lot of my friends have your
that
work too.
one as long as you can, okay? And I really
Oh,
appreciate
absolutely. I'm never going to get rid of your stuff. I love it.
just don't buy like the concert tickets that quick like that in the future.
Yeah, yeah. You know,
Be
a
careful
lot of
when
my
you
friends
carry
love your work
your
too.
pieces in. You gotta be very, very careful about your incomes. You can't do back to back. That's against the law.
That's for sure.
That's what
Uh, HRH Sean just chimed in, and they have five of your pieces. It's impossible to have just one because your work is so great. Everyone wants to collect. You got to collect at least one of everything. You know, all of Ruby's famous subjects. Ruby, what else are you working on right now? What are there any pieces you're in the middle of working on right now?
not right now. I'm taking a break, but I'm not gonna be
Okay.
using it all the time. And I'm sorry you won't get to meet Alan Frinchak because I
Hmm.
won't visit this next year until it be appropriate since I don't take insulin, I've taken pills. And I
Yeah.
really
Okay.
appreciate what you did, but in the future, find somebody else. That's why I had to make my decision since the mayor never been here.
I
That
understand. Well, Ruby, thank you for being so patient and for trying time and time again. I'm glad we finally made this work. Ruby, I would like to know, real quick though, I want to talk a little bit more about your process before we have to go, because I'm wondering how long it usually takes you to to make a piece when you're working on a piece of art.
we do it over again and make the mistakes.
Uh-huh. Do you go back and correct a lot of your mistakes when
Yeah,
you're working on some? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have a hard time fixing the presidential suite at the Drake Hotel after
Yeah.
Prince Charles stayed and his ex-wife, Princess Diana. And I feel so sorry for Prince Harry. He never went to the Drake Hotel since that his mother, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Well, he's still young. He might make it there one day.
I will meet him before I step down. We have to wait and
Yeah.
see. Do
Yeah. Yeah.
medals. This is not my house. This is the studio. Because
Uh-huh.
WPD manager coming in do it very well, like my former manager coming. I miss Bronzeville, and don't go over there too often no more. See, that's very hard for me.
Sure, I understand. It's
I'm
hard for everyone to get around right now. Well, Ruby,
I'm not.
we've got a few more comments from viewers coming in here. First, I want to point out Filer Jacobs has six of your pieces, so that's really cool. Whitney wants to know, who was your favorite celebrity that you've ever met? Because you've met quite a few. Which was the
I
most
never
exciting?
met. I never met Henry Cavill.
But out of the
I
celebrities
met
that,
Noel Neal, the original Superman.
yeah,
Lois Lane. That's my mom's favorite. George Reeves.
wow. Oh, it looks like Bill said you met Maggie Daly. Is that right?
That was a long time ago.
Uh-huh.
That was a long time ago.
I see. I see. Wow. Well, Ruby,
And
you've
Bill was very sweet of him. Just
uh-huh.
tell him very, very careful.
Oh, of course. I think he probably heard you, but that's good advice. You met Lori Lightfoot, current Chicago mayor. What was that like?
I already give her my piece. She never been here yet. That's why I'm waiting
Yeah.
for an appointment.
Well, she
'Cause
should check it out for sure.
until be safe again, they still work on the shots.
Yeah. I hope that anyone in power who has any kind of influence, particularly local Chicago government officials, take the time to visit Project Onward and see what an incredible organization it is, and help it get the funding that it needs and the support that it needs, because we can't let this program go away. Because as you can see,
We can't afford to
people.
have another protest anymore. They already messed up twice.
Well, there's a lot going on right now, Ruby, and hopefully things are gonna start to improve soon. But
Yeah, we
it
open back up in the fall. It's not
yeah
going to be easy.
yeah. Well, Ruby, Sean wants you to know that Sean and Josh think of you often. Keep going strong. You're doing great.
Can you tell them to say hello and enjoy my piece as long as they could? I wish they could buy Harry and William.
Yeah. Well, they're what Ruby?
Yeah.
They're watching right now. You can tell them yourself.
I wish you could buy William and Harry and late Princess Diana and Prince Charles Chicago, because it's
Yeah.
going to be hard, because I'm not going to be do Diana again anytime soon. That's going to be hard.
Yeah.
That was
Well.
after husband Charles. I'm not doing it again anytime soon. I enjoy this.
Yeah. We're all enjoying it. I think you've probably made a few more sales here today. Well, Ruby, is that on the site? I think Whitney can probably confirm real quick whether or not that's on the site. Uh, I know a lot of her pieces just went on there over the last couple of days, so definitely check it out and see what's available. And more pieces will be added all the time. Many of these are on there. Ruby, we got to wrap it up, but thank you again so much for
No
joining us
thank you
today.
for being interviewed, and it's not going to be easy. Can we save it for adapt for the second week of September?
Yeah, we'll work it out. Don't you worry. But thank you for joining us here today. I'm glad we finally got to
Thank
talk to you.
you.
Yeah, of
Thank
course.
you.
Keep making amazing art and
No, no, no,
stay positive.
just sometimes, but not all the
Of
time.
course, all the time. You just take your time. Do it at your own pace, Ruby, because we'll wait as long as it takes. Ruby, have a nice afternoon. Okay, I'll talk to you again real soon. All right.
Have a good night. You take care of yourself.
All
God bless
right.
you. Take care of your puppy.
Oh, I will. Absolutely, I will. Thank you
Enjoy
so much.
your work and tell Sean, Josh, say hello.
Of course, of
They
course.
have the old Charles in Chicago. Because I'm not going to make those again. Peace.
Yeah. All right.
God bless you. The
God
end.
bless you, Ruby. Goodbye. At the end. Wow. Okay. I don't usually do a tag at the end of these, but I just have to say real quick what a pleasure it was to interview Ruby today. I said this last time, but again, that interview has been lost to the sands of time because we ran into so many technical difficulties. Um, she was one of the more challenging interviews because she's an intensely private person. She can be kind of mercurial at times. If she doesn't want to talk about a certain subject, she's going to let you know flat out. She doesn't want to be pushed. She only wants to do it sometimes. She wants to remind you that it's not always going to be easy. Um, but she is really at her core. She's such a kind and really, I think, optimistic person because she keeps getting out there and she keeps making great work. And I think even though she might appear to shun the spotlight sometimes, she really appreciates all of the attention and all of the encouragement that she gets from all of her fans. So I'm so glad we got to make this happen today, and I'm so glad that you all tuned in. I want to take a moment, as always, to thank the staff, the volunteers, and the artists at Project Onward, and everyone at the Bridgeport Arts Center. I really hope we can get back to something resembling business as usual soon. But in the meantime, go to projectonward.org and buy some work. Contact someone at Project Onward if you want to take a private tour of the studio because they are doing it by appointment only right now. And tune in again next week when we'll have, or I guess probably maybe this week we'll be doing another one because this was actually last week's interview. I don't know. We'll figure it out and we'll let you know. But anyway, I'm Alex Oliver. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again really soon. Goodbye.